Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'm Celeste, and on behalf of the International Business and European Affairs Department, I would like to welcome you all, and especially Mr. Voutsas, Johnnie Voutsas, for being here today. Mr. Johnnie Voutsas is the Vice President of the International Follie Group. He holds a bachelor degree and a master's degree in electrical engineering from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in New York and an MBA from the London Business School in UK. He was the managing director of Matthews in London, UK, and a business consultant at Anderson Consulting in New York, Athens, and London. Mr. Voutsas joined the Follie Group in 1999 and is also a member of the board of directors of Links of London, Ltd. Today he is here presenting us the Follie Group and the China experience. So, without any further ado, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Johnnie Voutsas.
It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank all the organizing committees here in the meeting. It's a pleasure and honor to be in Deree. I was here 7 months ago. It was a pleasure to be here talking to you. I remember many years when I was sitting in your seats and always excited to hear what the speakers have to say. Today is my turn, and I will talk about the Follie experience, or the Follie Group and the China experience. I just wanted to, I think I'm going to be showing this one. Because I'm close to the microphone. How's this now? There's only one rule that I have, which I mentioned last time, several months ago, was that please call me Johnnie. So then you just a show of hands, who was in the last presentation several months ago when I was here giving a speech? 1, 2. Okay. So I can say the same thing. Alright, this is the way I'm structuring the presentation. First, I'm going to show you a 5-minute video, and for those 2 people that have been in my presentation, there are some additions, so don't worry about it. The second part is I will talk just a little bit about summarizing a little bit about the group, the Follie Group. Then I will talk a little bit about the Follie brand. And last but not least, I will talk about the China experience. And I'm trying to leave as much time as possible to answer questions that you may have. And I'm looking forward to your questions. This will be, I start with the 5-minute video. like it? Okay. Okay, a very quick snapshot of what you saw in the video. Okay, what is the group about? Okay. So basically, the group is a marriage between the brands and the channels of distribution. That's really the idea. On one hand is the channels of distribution, meaning it's the Attica department store. We all know Attica, factory outlets. And recently, the Deree company, which is the second largest travel retail operator in the world, acquired Hellenic Duty Free Shops, which was part of the Follie group. And through this acquisition, we actually became shareholders into the second largest duty free operator. So we haven't put the number next to the shareholding, but because it's it's under development, it's confidential, but soon there is a number which is higher than today. As far as the brands is concerned, we have our two own brands, which is Follie and Links of London. A show of hands, who knows Links of London? And then, so these are our own brands, so we go from design all the way to sales. Okay? And then we have distribution of these brands. Distribution meaning is that we have the rights to distribute the goods which are made in the mother company, and we as a distributor actually distribute the products. So the brands that we carry are brands such as Zegna, Nike, Converse, Juicy Couture, Samsonite, also perfume, cosmetics, and so on. Recently, what's happened since the last time I saw you, well, so the two of you, is Juicy Couture, that now we have the distribution rights for all of continental Europe, UK, Ireland, and Cyprus. So this is something very important for us. It really shows to the world that our group has power. And because of our performance and respect to the brand, they actually gave us the distribution for this very large territory. So we're very proud of that. And also the Dufry acquisition and our shareholding in Dufry is also very important for us. And just to explain Dufry, what I mean by duty-free operator, for those that don't understand exactly, these are companies that are between the airport authorities and the brands. And these people actually get the space from the airports and they lease it to the brands and they run the business. Just some quick numbers. This is the distribution, geographic distribution. You can see that Greece is about 46%. Very large percentage is Asia. This is driven by our Follie business. And then you see other distribution in Europe and North America. So talking about fast forward, that this is the title of the seminar, you understand the upside for us. So these are some very interesting numbers for the group, is that we have almost 5,000 employees. We are in 28 countries. We have over 850 points of sale throughout the world with all the businesses, and with sales of over 1 million. I think this is to me, this is a very important mission statement. For the group, our mission is to bring fashion and the feel good factor to people's everyday lives through our products and services that breathe luxury, creativity, and passion. Follie. So, the next segment of the presentation is to talk about Follie. Some key points with Follie, it's what I was saying before, is having our own brands. We control the whole supply chain from the initial design concept all the way to selling the product into the stores. So we actually control the whole distribution. This gives us power to control, to be very responsive to customer trends, but we also influence the design and the product. Target, working lady, 24 years old, this is core, looking for fashionable branded, excellent quality, and affordable products. Our challenges of distribution. Okay, we have standalone boutiques. You've seen probably Sia and all these places, and of course, throughout the world. Shop and shop and living department stores, whether it's from Harrods to your Nationalia to Corte Inglés in Spain and so on. We have presence in many airports throughout the world, and airlines that I mentioned before, and of course e-shopping, which is another fast-forward element that we'll discuss a little later, of how important it is. I'm just going quickly through the slides, just because I'm very concerned also with time to ensure that I just give you the highlights of the presentation. So our mission for Follie is to enhance the feel-good factor and add a luxurious lifestyle in the lives of modern, active women through fashionable products that breathe cosmopolitan flair with stylish and glamorous fashion. There's a knee missing there, that's okay. So it's more of a lifestyle trendy brand. Follie started as a jewelry company. We actually moved on into jewelry and watches, and then into bags, and now we're becoming a more fashion, lifestyle, trendy brand, which means there is more coming into this positioning. So watch this space, what's coming for Follie. The development of the points of sale is quite aggressive. Talking about fast forward again, the rate of growth has been quite aggressive, and it will be aggressive for 2013 as well. Positioning, all the marketeers. Who actually majors in marketing? Okay. So there are some, in terms of positioning, this is just, there's a whole bunch of axis ways to do positioning and all that. We actually took this one, called the Haven Matrix, and this is where we feel that for this position, it has words such as fun, creative, exciting, delightful, trendy, independent, adventurous, impulsive, animated, open there. This is the footprint on the positioning matrix of this particular matrix for Follie. Some shops. This is our largest shop. This is in China. So Deree with the Oriental Plaza. Has anyone been there? No? No? Okay. We opened in Istanbul. And there's Christina Park. Has anyone been to Christina Park? One. Okay. Two. Harrods, Nanjing Road in China, in Soho. I'm just flying through these images. Mariana and Tokyo. This is the heart of China. It's very impressive. I find this impressive. You walk in the shopping mall and you see this architectural thing, which is beautiful. This is one of my favorites. This is in Hong Kong Airport. This is in London Heathrow Terminal 4. These are the type of campaigns. This is just some snapshots of the campaigns that we run, and we'll discuss a little more about China experience. So here it is, in China. The reason we're talking about China is because of through popular demand. You actually asked for me next time, which is this time, to talk about China and our Chinese experience. So it's a pleasure to share with you some key points of the China experience. Okay. We all say that China is a whole bunch of numbers. There's a lot of things happening, and it's very true. Just to show you the number of cities that we are today. Well, today no, because we have already added more cities. But at the end of 2013, we were in 69 cities in China. By the end of 2004, we'll be in 90 cities in China. That's quite fast forward. The number of points of sale we have today, or by the end of 2013, is 198. We will have 257. That's 60 more shops. And franchise, which I'll explain what's going on with franchise, from 97 to 150. Okay. I want to bring up my crib sheet. Allow me. So, I want to make sure I share all the information I was planning to share with you. Okay, motivational profile. I think one thing that is we all know, or at least I think most of us know, is the one-child policy, right? You know this, right? Now this creates it's a driving point. This one-child policy. If it's a one-child policy, it means you can take care of the kid. We want him to succeed. We want him to do the best. And success is linked very much with money and status. So the kid can have a better future, but it may actually impact the future of the parents as well. So this is a key motivation for Chinese. That covers the first point. Geography. One key point in geography is, China is a very large country. It would be incorrect to say that what happens on one side of China happens on the other side of China. That's incorrect. There's segmentations of consumer behavior depending where you are. One key segmentation is the way that we categorize the cities in terms of tier 1, tier 2, 3, 4. Tier represents the type of growth and the growth cycle that the city is. So tier 1 would be cities such as Shanghai and Beijing. And then tier 2, less on the development, and tier 3 and tier 4. Now what we see is that tier 1 has, over the years, has developed as these restaurants, and you have McDonald's, and you have theaters, and you have entertainment, and brands are coming in, and all that. As you move on to all the way to tier 4, there's less of that. And of course, there is an aspiration for tier 2 to become like tier 1, tier 3 to become like tier 2, and so on. The growth rate of China is roughly something below 8%, but if you really, that's an average. If you move to tier 3, 4 cities, the growth rate is much higher, whereas in tier 1, 2, it's lower. So the room for growth is higher in tier 3 and tier 4. Also, there is also an initiative that are taking place by the government of China for the development of the cities, or development of that area. For us, for Follie, for example, in the north, they like colorful, flashy, jewelry. On the south, they need a little more discreet, smaller, and so on. So we cannot generalize and say that all of China is the same. This is incorrect. Talking about, I read my crib sheet. The motivational profile. Education is something very important. I mean, the families, even whether it's tier 4, tier 3, they want, of course, the kids to become educated. It's really important. That's a tool to become successful. Okay. Shopping. Santorini is a very popular island amongst the Chinese. Who has heard of that? Okay, so Greeks, when they think of Legend of Santorini, what do they think when they go there? They think, of course, the beaches, of course, nightlife and all that. China's a little different. Okay, shopping is it. It's really important, and of course, to visit some areas. Statistically speaking, the Chinese don't spend time going swimming. It's something that some of them do, but it's not a thing like us, for example. For them, shopping is really important. It's leisure. It's their form of entertainment. Now, hold this thought in your mind, because if this is the case, it means that the way that the retail brands are presented, they must provide an experience that matches what they're looking for. So if it's an entertainment and leisure activity, you must provide something, more theater, more something, to entice them so they can shop. Okay. I said buffet versus a la carte. The Chinese customer is increasingly becoming a lot more educated and a more discerning customer. If you turn the clocks back, 10 years back, the way, this is my expression by buffet la carte. I have this image in my mind. You know, in the beginning it was buffet. There was a lot of things to try, so they would take the plate and try things out, and you know, they had a nice meal, and of course it was cool to eat this and that. Now it's more la carte. Now they've been educated, a lot of them have been educated, they have more of an opinion, they have a strong opinion. In fashion, for example, while of course they want to, some of them are still, you know, if you go to tier 3, tier 4, they want to wear their Chanel t-shirts because it's important, they feel you know, the status and all that. But on the other extreme, you find that the Chinese are actually great fashion designers. They get awards, so they're also driving fashion. So on one hand, you had the Chinese customer that is just taking all in and trying to behave like, for example, a lot of Western behavior of consumerism. But at the same time, they're becoming more discerning customers. Yeah. Give you a small example. I'm reading this article. TVs, they buy TVs. They're concerned about the picture quality, but guess what? They're interested in the aesthetics. That's a new thing over the years. That must look nice. Okay. Internet. This is an incredible, I mean, talking about fast forward, to me it's a big driver, this one, the internet. Okay, in 2013, the e-shopping sales in China exceeded, for the first time, the e-shopping sales, online sales, of the US. So China had about $280 billion worth of sales. The US had about $260 billion. Now, this is an eye-opener. Okay, this is one interesting fact. Another one is, and I'll share a story. We had brought some VIP Chinese, they were from media and all that, came from China, they were in the islands, they were in the island of Spetses actually, so we were showing them things. They were there for the regatta race that took place during summer. And they were experiencing something that, of course, they adored, they liked very much. And then they used this, the WeChat. Who knows WeChat, the application? WeChat. One. Okay. WeChat, everyone has in China. So it's like WhatsApp, a little different. So they were uploading photos, comments, and everything. And whatever they were experiencing, at the same time, they were sharing it with their friends throughout China, and they were getting feedback. And to me, it's, you know, we're connected. I mean, in the island of Spetses, and then all of a sudden, Spetses is spread all around China, just with one experience that they're going through. 88% of the middle class in China are internet users. We estimate about 600, 700 million are internet users. I mean, these numbers are astounding. And 71% of those, no, the 88% is the another thing is before they purchase, 1 in 4 must go and check the company. So 25% of the sales, you must have a website, else you lose that 25%. Interesting. Also, they're certain about, we estimate about 66, this is from recent research, 66% actually go through browsing of customers. So the web is really important. When you have this site, when you become very active, the social media, it's really important. And in terms of credibility, internet or the web is more credible than TV. This didn't exist, what I'm talking about was not the case 3 years ago. This is the case now. So they believe the internet more, the web, than they believe the TV, which, you know, it's a trend. We have to follow that. Another thing in the environment, they're very much word-of-mouth people. They tell their friends. They estimate about the power of word-of-mouth is over 60% in China, and the States is 38%. In the States, you can make decisions more with tools you can have accessible, and you have access to them, and you make the purchase decisions. In China, it's quite high, so the influence is really important. Fashion. The Romania versus the Sterling, we talked about that. And before they would talk about, the Louis Vuitton, the Chanel. You go to tier 1, they want something more discreet. They want that more Bottega Veneta and it's more discreet, more subtle. Fashion I discussed about that, and they'll also get their awards and fashion design. Service. Give you an example. We had a location in Shanghai Airport, and it was a Folli self-serve unit, which means it was a piece of furniture, and you have the boxes and the product inside the box, and it was ready to be sold. We expect the customer to just walk in, see the box, and just do it themselves, DIY. They changed. They didn't want that. Over the years, they wanted to be served like a customer you would find elsewhere. So we changed the way that the approach to sales by having a self-serve unit to more of a tray-style selling, meaning that they were displaying products, we actually opened drawers, we brought out the trays, we showed them, they were able to choose. So this says something about that they want to be served. Travel. 21 airports have a capacity of more than 10 million passengers. Give you one example. Chengdu. Who knows Chengdu? Okay. Who has a PC? No PC, because you have iPads. Okay, well. 2 out of 3 PCs are made in Chengdu in the world. Chengdu. And iPads, a whole bunch of them. So the capacity of the airport today is 35 million. In a few years, or in about 5 years, it's going to be 100 million capacity. Also, the traveling Chinese, there's about 100 million Chinese that actually left China to travel abroad. 100 million. I don't know how many Germanys or how many Greeces or how many UKs, but that's quite a number. And you realize that's a market, if you can follow my thought, if you build a brand very powerfully in China, of course you can capture them when they actually travel to the cities that they're visiting. Okay, challenges. Right skills. Because these people if they want to succeed, it's very easy for them to jump from one company to the other. It's very easy, okay, because they go for the best for them. So it's important to be able, it's a challenge to be able to actually access star performers, and at the same time have a balance between having people that they take initiative versus the execute guidelines. Because sometimes they don't want to do out-of-the-box thinking because this may come into friction with someone. At the same time, we need initiative and ideas so that we can actually, move forward. The pay, of course, is very important. And for Follie, one of the things that we see is that working for Follie, if we build a brand which is very powerful, that gives status also to the person working for the company. So they like that. So that's part of the status building. They like that. And then we try to balance the pay, the scope of work, relationships. This is key. For someone entering to China, there's a lot of legwork. There's a lot of footwork you need to do. You cannot send an email and just make phone calls. You got to be there. You got to build relationships, and from day one all the way, every single day. Don't think that you finished. You never finish. You have to really follow up and build relationships. In our case, from regulatory and governments to department stores, to landlords, to media, we have to build relationships. It's very key. They're very much like us on this, in terms of relationship building and developing trust so we can move forward. They're demanding customers. They're becoming more quality-oriented. Competition, there's increasing competition. There's less competition when you move to tier 3, tier 4. There's more competition, tier 1, tier 2, but they're moving. We are in all tiers right now for the film. Technology, we discussed about that. Okay. One of the questions that I heard that you wanted to hear is how do we enter into China? Okay. One thing is that we had an infrastructure already set in Asia, which was important. We were catering to the Japanese that were the drivers of luxury goods products and goods street market. And that, of course, was changing with China. So we actually had built the infrastructure, knew how demanding the Japanese customer was. So for us, it was, we just went to China. We, of course, we had to create a flagship store that really impressed. It's part of the aspirational side, that they want to feel that this brand meets their aspirational needs, so we had to build a flagship store. The geography, of course, went to Tier 1. In terms of promotion, we actually went to the TV, educating them about fashion, styling, and last, Follie. We had to give them the whole cycle. We had to educate them on everything. So this is the type of trust we were building. And we were using people that were Chinese, that were westernized, that they were true brand ambassadors, and they were people that people could aspire to. Talking about celebrity and brand ambassador, this is very key. I want to become like you. I want to become like you, that I see you on the TV screen or I see you down the street. I want to be like you. So if you're wearing a product like Follie, it's really important. I'm going to buy it myself. Campaigns. Campaigns as in shooting campaigns and actually advertising. And of course, people are very important. The people that to maintain the stuff, to find and to maintain the star performers. Okay, today. Okay, so all these channels of distribution. One thing about franchise, once we build a network, okay, then we can actually go to faraway places that it's not as easy to control, and by the way, we can minimize the expenses, and we can actually get in touch with people that really are in love with our brand, they believe in it, they are networked locally, and you know, they do a great job. So through these franchisees, and because we build our brand, they believe in us, and they're delighted with us, and they are perfect partners. We just love them. We have a great relationship. We bring them to Greece, and they're great. So this is a very important channel distribution. Airports and airlines. Think of China, and then think of the airports and the airlines. By having this repeated message of airlines, airports, local markets, franchise, everything, also on destination when they travel, we keep on repeating the message, and that's what you need. You've got to keep on repeating a consistent message, and that helps the brand building. Geography, of course, in all 4 cities. We talked about these. Sponsorship. One key thing is Miss World China. We were sponsored of this event, so think there's a judging panel, Miss China, and one of the 6 is our president, a Greek, to judge the next Miss China. Great stuff. The 19 ladies that were wearing Follie products. 80 million SMSs voting with a Follie backdrop. From October until May of that year, Miss China was traveling in 15 mainland China cities promoting Follie. And Fosun is a company that we are partners with, and through Fosun we actually have a very strong relationship. They are the largest private conglomerate in China. We are partners with them, and okay, almost out of time. So some campaigns here, so you see having an Asian face, then moving to the Asian Western face, and then moving on to the sorry, sorry. Give it back.
You need to tease us a bit more.
But here's the Mr. World China. Okay. This is my last slide. So fast forward. I mean, I'm talking about the group, huh? Okay. For our own brands, Follie, of course, China we talked about. I talked to China and technology, huge fast forward factor. As far as our brands, Follie big upside, geographic coverage. Links of London is a brand that it's in the Anglo-Saxon axis, and we're looking at internationalizing it. In terms of brand portfolio, Juicy Couture is the latest addition to our portfolio of brands. And of course, we are ready to have more things happening. You will hear something very soon. Geographic coverage, like we mentioned before. Alliances. These two alliances are two examples of that we need to work with other companies and other entities. It's really important. Moving forward, you cannot just do things by yourself. And I think the Fosun and Dufry example, are two examples of how we are really capitalizing on that. And last but not least, not to forget our mission statement, to bring fashion and feel-good factor to people's everyday lives through our products and services that breed luxury, creativity, and fashion. That's it, one breath.
Thank you very much.
Discussion which is starting in a couple of minutes, but can we allow a couple of questions, short ones, please? Sorry. Sorry.
At the international level, international marketing level, do you market and brand Follie the various markets as a Greek company or a foreign group or both? Do you give an image of the Greek way of life?
I went through the slide very fast, and you weren't able to see that part of the campaign. There was this Asian and Western, and it was a Greek flag. But it's not only the Greek flag. I mean, we're very proud to be a Greek company, and we always promote the Greek element. Always. I mean, there's a lot of initiatives that we do to actually promote Greece and Greek products and all that. One thing that we're discussing now is because we're very close to the Chinese. We are in discussions of actually bringing the Greek element even more in terms of the communication. We're sharing a lot of things. Because exactly said, if you scratch the skin of the Greek, you'll find the Chinese. And if you scratch the surface of the Chinese, you'll find the Greek. There's a lot of things, the family, education, trust, relationship. So we're looking at actually this more carefully to use it even more, the Greek element. But we're very proud to say it, very proud. And we're doing things, actual things.
I have to say I really enjoyed your presentation. I'm a big fan. So I would like to ask, over the years you have noticed several differences between the customer audiences of China and Greece. So which are these differences? And do they have a cultural kind of underground level, or what do they really like?
I think we need to go to the motivational profile of this, the answer to this question. And I think that if the Chinese are really out there to succeed and to show they're succeeding, they're showing off, to them this is the key driver. This is a major difference. The motivation profile, I believe, while we're very much alike in many cultural things, the motivational profile is the one that is different. How are we using that for the Chinese market? We are using the celebrity in a lot more powerful way than we use it in other countries. So we'll have an international model plus a local celebrity to promote our products. I don't know if I covered it.
Mr. Voutsas, thank you very much for the amazing speech.
Sorry, one more short, just one question. Mr. Voutsas, Johnnie. Okay. Thank you very much for
making this presentation. It's an honor for having you here, and we know how busy you are. I hope I won't sound impolite, but the question is, can we start thinking about offering internship to our students with your company? You have a special department, and I know that you have discussed this already, or semi-discussed it, so, they're your fans.
It's a good question. And to be honest with you, I would love this to happen tomorrow. I'll tell you what's going on, if you like, right now. One of the things that has happened organizationally is that recently there was an acquisition of gluten-free, of our alumni gluten-free shops, which means that a big part of our organization was ripped out, okay? And right now we're through this reorganization, and actually there's a major, if you like, reshuffling of what's going on. Now, I am a proponent not only of internship, whether it's shadowing, whether it's internships, whether it's doing projects, whether, a whole bunch of things. I was in your position, I've done it, I know the value. I know the value to the company, so I know that there's a win-win scenario. The conditions must be there in order to fully capitalize both your time, make sure that you actually get something out of it, and of course in a way that actually fits in something in the company. So the intention is there. I think it's just a matter of time to be able to materialize something like that. The intention is there. I am the first proponent for something like this to happen.
We have one more question from Mr. UK. Two. Make it short, okay?
Thank you for your space. I would like to ask you a question. We know that the Chinese market and the Chinese themselves are a craft market. They don't even want to speak to them very close. They're a little bit, let's say, strange. What would you think that was that key factor that made such a huge success of the Folli group in the Chinese market?
I think the extroversion of the family and the company from its beginning, the fact that they're comfortable with extroversion, the fact that the extroversion was part of the DNA. Just a small anecdote. Our president had won a scholarship to study in Japan because he wanted to do something with Japan. So extroversion was part of the DNA. We built extroversion by having presence in the Japanese market. Usually brands don't do that. They don't go from Greece directly to Japan. They actually build a presence in Europe, further out, and then they go to Japan. We actually went out and we succeeded in doing that. And we were comfortable with that. We built the infrastructure. And for us, China was just a natural progression. So it's nothing, for us, it wasn't as drastic as a company starting from scratch and just going to China. It was already in the DNA and the infrastructure was already built.
I'd like to ask you a question. Thank you for your outstanding speech about China. It was very insightful. I'd like to ask about your presence in Europe. You said that you had acquired, that you had sold the Atlantic duty-free shops, a quite large percentage. And I had read in an article that you acquired the Juicy Couture for Greece and continental Europe. Is that a reflection of trying to build a stronger presence in Europe currently?
That's part of our mission statement, which we built our infrastructure, and we're welcoming to add on with more brands. The important thing is the message is out there in the world, and whether it's American companies or European or anyone that have a brand, they consider our group as a very valid protagonist in actually distributing their products in Europe as a start. So Juicy Couture, they believed in us. They saw the performance, which is in small Greece, we are doing fantastically well. And they said, take all of Europe, UK, Ireland, and go ahead. And it's consistent with our mission statement.
Okay, thank you very much for your speech.